So hello everyone, my name is Becky with Scholarly Marketing. Today we are going to be talking about opportunities and the sales pipeline. So this is our opportunities overview class. If you are here with me live, please drop any questions you have in the chat as we go through, and I will do my best to get those answered in real time. If it's a more in-depth question, or I'm running low on time, I will save those for the end. I'll make sure take a few minutes at the end to answer any questions you may have. Um, if you're watching this back on recording, please feel free to email us any questions you may have. Support@scottleroymarketing.com is our email address. I'm going to drop that in the chat as well so that anyone here, if you have questions later on, run into any snags or anything like that, you can email us there as well. I'm also going to drop a link to our YouTube channel. So on our YouTube channel, I'm going to go over there now. Today's recording will be posted on our YouTube channel within 24 hours. So we will make sure it's uploaded for you. But you can go and find that video. It will be in the top of the videos tab right here. So this is showing our most recent, I believe it's about 10 videos. So you will be able to grab those there. You can also go straight to the videos tab either here or here. We do recommend that if you are looking for a specific class, you always check out the videos tab and make sure you're checking out those dates to make sure it is the most recent class of that specific category. So when you're looking through these are going to be the most recent. However, if I were to, for example, search for today's class, the one that pops up at the top is 7 months ago, and then our more recent one of 3 weeks ago, 8 months ago, and it kind of just goes back and forth on those. So sometimes it'll be the most recent at the top, but usually it is not. So I just always recommend that you take a look at those dates if you are searching for a video. If you have any questions or can't find a video, please feel free to reach out to us via email, support@scottleroymarketing.com. We are super happy to help out, find that video for you. Or if we don't have a video on that, we can provide further guidance on it. So again, feel free to reach out to us if you're not seeing videos or can't find a recent one. We're happy to take a look on that. Um, yeah, so opportunities and sales pipeline, what is that? So an opportunity is your transaction. I'm going to switch back to command real quick. But opportunities are your transactions in command. So it'll start at the time you meet your new lead all the way to the time you get to the closing table. So it's a way for you to track that transaction all the way through. So today I'm going to be walking you through the basics for the first half of class. We're going to be kind of exploring your opportunities tab in command, showing you how to create an opportunity, how to manage it, edit them, move it through the sales pipeline. And then we'll spend the last half of class, we're going to focus more on the actual sales pipeline, meaning from the time you start the relationship to having an appointment scheduled with that person, to getting those documents signed and then turned into your market center for compliance, and then getting all the way through commission requests all the way to the closing. So that would be your sales pipeline. It's basically the lifetime of the opportunity. So we will take a look at both of those. We are going to start in command, which is agent.kw.com. We are logged into our demo account here. I do want to show you one of the settings you will want to make sure you have connected before you start creating opportunities in your command. And that is to make sure you have your DocuSign or .loop connected. So we're going to click our name in the top right corner. We're going to go down and we are going to click Settings. And through here, you will see under Applications, DocuSign and .loop. Most of the market centers that we work with do use DocuSign, and some use .loop as well. There are some certain locations, like I believe some in California and Canada, may use a different different signature platform. So if your market center is using a different platform other than DocuSign and .loop, don't worry about connecting those here. Just use what your market center tells you to use. So again, for the majority of folks, it's going to be DocuSign or .loop, and you'll make sure either of whichever you are using is connected here prior to creating your opportunities. So we are going to go back to our home, and now we're going to jump over to the opportunities applet. So the opportunities applet is going to be this icon on the left-hand side that shows two hands shaking. If you're not sure, you can hover over them and it will give you that little name right next to it. You can also click the red square with the white KW and it will expand that whole menu so you can see what all of them are. So we're going to start off in the opportunities applet. I'm going to go ahead and close that menu there. But if you are on a team, you are going to see more than these two tabs here. If you are a solo agent, you will just see those two, just the your personal and the all opportunities tab. But again, on a team, you would see one that is specific for the team as well. So this right here shows your dashboard for your personal opportunities. So you do have an all opportunities tab as well. The personal one is more visual. It shows a better, idea of what each of the pipelines looks like. But if you ever need to find a specific opportunity really quickly, for example, one that's already been closed or anything like that, you can go here to the All Opportunities tab. You can search for it. You can search by the address, the opportunity name, or the contact name. So you can search by any of those. You can filter all of these. That's one thing I find great about Command is they have a ton of options for filtering. Most anything you can imagine filtering by, you'll find it either for opportunities, contacts, things like that. So you can find those opportunities. You can filter through there. You also can set smart views. So for example, if you find yourself looking for a specific group of opportunities that are filtered in a specific way repeatedly, you can set it as a smart view, which just means that you will be able to switch to that view again. So for example, the live on pipeline and the close month to date are command created ones, so those you will see automatically, as well as the all opportunities. But you can create smart views, play around with that, and make them default or however you want to do that. So we are going to switch back over to our pipeline tab, which is again under our name right here. And we have three different pipelines for our opportunities. So we have our listings, we have our buyers, and we have our leases. So we'll start at the top. So for all of the opportunities, you have 5 different phases. They are all the same, except the leases pipeline has one different, but I'll point that out in just a second. So for listing opportunities, the 5 phases are cultivate. So this is when you are starting to form the relationship with the potential client. Maybe you're collecting personal information. You are, getting more information, having the first real estate conversation with them. Really, you're trying to get to the point where they're starting to talk about setting an appointment with you. So things like that, that would be the cultivate phase. The next is going to be the appointment phase right here. So the appointment phase, pretty self-explanatory. It means that you have set that appointment with them. And then the active phase means that you have ink on paper, you have a signed agreement, signed documents, and you are now either their listing agent or their buyer's agent. Next, you have the under contract phase and the closed phase, which again are both pretty self-explanatory. Under contract, you would have a contract, and closed means that it is completed, closed out through command, things like that. So it's going to be the same for listings and buyers. The one phase that's different for leases is instead of under contract, we have a pending phase. So each of these icons is a hyperlink that we can click on to see the different opportunities in each of those phases. And then below that, you are going to see the volume in each phase and then the average time, how long an opportunity stays in this phase on average. This is the demo account, so you can ignore our numbers. Hopefully yours look a little better than these numbers here, because these don't even make sense down here. But hopefully yours would make more sense. And then you can see the arrows as it flows through the pipeline, so you can see how it would be moving. You can also see underneath in these little green bubbles, or reddish orange for buyers, purple for leases. They're color coded. But you'll see how many opportunities are in each phase as well, so that you get a good glimpse of what your pipeline looks like. So then over here on the right-hand side, you will see the potential income and the probable income. So you might be wondering what's the difference between those two. So the potential income is the total commission you can make if all of these opportunities get all the way through to the closed phase. The probable income is adjusted based on where the opportunity is in the pipeline. So if the opportunity is still in the cultivate phase, it's less likely to close than, say, it's in the under contract phase. And we can take a look at where you'll see those numbers for the probability of it in a little bit. But that's going to be broken down for each of these. I do want to point out that with these, especially the closed part of the pipeline, it will reset every month at the beginning of the month when your market center does their month-end close or transmittal, whichever your market center is calling it. So this number will reset. You'll still always be able to find those closed opportunities in the All Opportunities tab. But that way you aren't getting bogged down over here in the Close tab. It'll be more of a month-to-month thing there. Scrolling down some more, we're going to see a ratio graphic. And if you remember, up above was color-coded. These are also color-coded with the same colors. So 77% of our opportunities are listings, 8% are buyers, and 15% are leases. You can see the individual types, numbers of opportunities for each. And again, you have that probable versus potential income through here as well. You will see an activity chart. It's going to show the peaks and lows in your business. You can filter by the type of opportunity, so listing, buyer, landlord, tenant. But this is going to give you a year-to-date overview of maybe what your business looks like. So we can see our business started picking up here in March, and then it's gone uphill ever since. Again, it's a demo account. Yours will likely look different. Everyone's business is a bit different here, but this just gives you an idea of what your business looks like, and you'll just be able to see that a little more clearly through there. Moving down, you'll also see the closings this month. So again, resets at the beginning of each month, but you will see a list of any that are closing or have closed down here. So that kind of covers the opportunities dashboard. So next we want to walk through creating an opportunity. So there's two different places that we can create an opportunity. We can obviously use this teal square in the top right corner. The other way we can do it is directly through a contact's profile. So if we go over to our contacts applet, see our contacts here, and we'll be able to select the contacts we want to use. We can flip to the Opportunities tab. Here we'll see any opportunities that they are currently linked to. So any opportunities that are under their name or have already, closed under them. It will show all of their opportunities through here. And you can click this button to create an opportunity. It's going to be the same builder view as you would see on the Opportunities tab. I'm going to do it through the Opportunities tab just because I want to make it a little, less confusing. We'll just stay in this Opportunities tab. I just wanted to show you that it is an option to create it directly through the contact profile. So through here, we're just going to click Create Opportunity in the top right corner. We're going to go through and fill out this information. So Market Center. If you are with more than one market center, you want to make sure you have the correct market center selected. So this cannot be changed once the opportunity has been created. You would have to archive the opportunity and create a new one and start over, making sure you're using the correct market center. So keep an eye on that if you are with multiple market centers, or if you maybe just transferred from a different market center, just make sure it's showing the correct market center, because if you are showing more than one, it can get a little confusing, so you want to make sure. Next, you have the team. If you are a solo agent, this field is going to be grayed out and you don't have to worry about it. If you are on a team, just make the decision as to whether it's a team opportunity or a solo opportunity. If you choose the team, the Rainmaker will pretty much always be the owner of the opportunity. If it's solo, it's going to be you. So anything with a red asterisk is a required field. So again, market center, owner. You'll want to select your opportunity type through here. So I'm going to go ahead and pick a listing, just because it has two main things that a buyer's opportunity doesn't, and I want to point those out to you. Next, we have our client. So if you click in this box, don't worry if you don't see names populate. They will start to populate as we begin typing. So we can search for a contact through here. So we can see all of those. We can also create a new contact directly through here to link it to our opportunity. I'm going to go with this one that I grabbed earlier. If you have a co-seller, you can add them here. The opportunity name is going to be automatically populated just by the client's name and then whether it's a listing or a buyer. But you can go through and you can change this however you'd like. So if there is, for example, a specific address for it and you want to have them, listed by address, we could do that. So we can go through and look at those, create that opportunity name however we want. Next, you'll see custom tags. So we can tag this. There's a bunch of different ways, a bunch of different tags. You can create more tags. Again, you would just start typing. For example, I'm trying to think. So you can say, maybe it's a sphere opportunity. You can create that there. And then you kind of can break it down with the different types of opportunities, and that'll give you a better idea. Maybe you have a specific group of people you market to. Maybe you work specifically with military or relos or things like that, and you want to break it down so that you can get a better idea of what your business is looking like, how many opportunities you're actually doing in those niches. But you can go through, add those tags however you would like, whatever works for your business. Estimated close date, time frame, listing price. Those aren't required fields, so if you do not have those at the moment, you do not have to add them. You'll be able to add those later on. But you do want to enter a commission rate here. We'll just throw in a commission rate. And your opportunity phase and opportunity stage. So the phase is what we just covered, our cultivate, appointment, active. Sorry, my brain glitched for a second there. Cultivate, appointment, active, under contract, and then closed. So that would be those phases right here. And then the stage is actually going to be, there's in each phase, there's a bunch of different stages. So we'll cover that shortly when we get back to the opportunity pipelines. But we'll go ahead and create it, cultivate, and the stage is watch. So we'll create that. And this is what an opportunity will look like once it is created. So we're going to do a quick overview of what you are seeing here. So first thing first, up here in the top, the sales pipeline and the listing cultivate. These are basically a back button for you. So it's going to be a hyperlink to take you back to your sales pipeline. You can have it take you directly to your listing cultivate sales pipeline or just sales opportunities altogether. So you can take those. It's going to have the name of the opportunity right here. Next, you'll see the contact that is linked to the opportunity. That is a hyperlink. So it's going to take you directly to their contact card. And you can, well, you would click go to contacts there. But then you can also change the contact that's on an opportunity if you do need to. Next, you have select from listings. So this is one of the two things I mentioned that you won't see on a buyer or lease opportunity. So you can pull those directly in from the MLS. So when we click select from listings, there's generally, this screen causes a little bit of confusion. So I'm going to go ahead and walk you through this process. Most people see this screen right here and think, oh no, it's broken because it's saying, no listings match your search. No worries. There's a workaround here. This is what you'll see if your MLS is not currently synced with Command, which syncing your MLS with Command is convenient. It is not required for opportunities in order to sync those listings. So what we would do for this is we want to find it directly. There's two different things. So we want to search by the MLS number. We also want to show all listings. So we can change it to show only Market Center listings, only your listings, or all listings. And it's going to pull up a bunch here. We're going to grab that MLS number, throw it in there, and then you will just find the correct one through here. So you'll just click select, and it will update that opportunity right there, and it will already be linked. So you'll see it also filled in our property details right here when we did that. But yeah, then down here, this is all of that information about your opportunity. So you have key information, so the opportunity type, name, ID, contact. Again, you can edit that through here. You can go through, change the contact on the opportunity. Any grayed out fields are, again, fields that you cannot change. So again, you can't change the market center once it's already been selected. Can't change the team or, the owner of the contact or the owner of the opportunity. But the other fields you can change. If we scroll down a bit, we're going to see these key dates through here. So key dates, as they become available, just click this pencil right here and go begin adding those dates. So there's a few reasons we would want key dates, and I'm going to circle back to this actually in a little bit when we talk about marketing checklists and things like that, because you can have tasks associated with your opportunity and you can have them tied to key dates. So you can go through, this will help you schedule those tasks. So for example, maybe we have our photography date is next Friday. And we can go through and we can select any of these. Then we would just click save. And you'll see it populate down in here. So that it'll have a worksheet here and then some of the financial information down through here. Next, we have our marketing tab. So this is the second thing that you see in a listing opportunity that you will not see in another type of opportunity. So again, this is specific to listing opportunities. So this updates with new recommendations for designs. So, we're in the cultivate phase. So here are some things that you might typically send to a client when you are trying to earn that business. And it is based on the phase. You'll see this bubble right here. Recommended designs are based on the opportunity phase. Change the phase and you'll see a new set of recommendations. So as you move the opportunity through the sales pipeline, you'll see different designs populate here. But you can go in, you can edit these, and then you can also send them, for marketing for your opportunity. So you'll see, again, these update as they go through the pipeline. We do have a class for that. It is the Opportunities Marketing and Checklists class. It's kind of like a part 2 to this class. So this one's covering the basics. Our marketing and checklists covers more of these in-depth things. So next we have the Documents tab, and you're going to be in this Documents tab a lot. So this is where you can come in and see a list of all the documents that your market center needs. Each market center has their own compliance checklist, so each of these may look a little bit different. But you would want to select the proper checklist right here. So some market centers have multiple checklist types. Some only have one. So you may not have to select the checklist type. But if you're not seeing these fields automatically populate right here, it'll generally tell you select your checklist type. And then you would just click your name right here. And then you would click, the type of checklist. And then this should all fill in. So this is also where you would connect your DocuSign. We'll circle back to this in a little bit. Yeah, so next we have the Offers and Commissions tab. Pretty self-explanatory. We will come back to that pretty shortly as well when we actually go through the sales pipeline itself. But this is, again, where you would create those offers and stuff for your clients. Next, you have the Notes tab. So if you have any notes you want to add to the opportunity, you can add them here. And then we also have this timeline button, which has the history of the opportunity. So we'll be able to see that the automatic date range is the last 30 days. But you can say of all time, only the last 7 days. You can break it down, you can filter it. So yeah, so this is super helpful if maybe you want to go see what's going on with certain things. Maybe you forget when you added something and you want to go look at that. You can do it through there. So that is the timeline. So up in the top, we're also seeing the client updates. So you will see that they are turned off right here. So client updates are an automated email that can be sent to your client. So generally it would be sent once a day. It would be automatically composed for you. So it would have your branding at the top and the bottom, but then it would have a little blurb to your client saying something along the lines of, we're working on your transaction. This is what we've gotten done for you today. Um, so if you have any tasks on your opportunity that you've gotten done, you can control which tasks they see, if they've been completed. If nothing was completed that day, it's not going to tell them. It won't email them. It won't send them a blank email. But you have control of what they can see, who does see it, etc. And we have a tip video for you that shows you how to set up client updates for opportunities. Again, it is automatically turned off. You can choose to turn it on individually. Maybe it's a client that wants a lot of hand holding. You can turn it on for that individual. There's not a way to have the opportunities automatically send those out just because they want you to know, who you're sending them to. Investors likely aren't going to need as much hand holding. They probably don't want all of the updates every day, but then some clients might. So that's totally up to you. Next, we have tasks. So you do have a tasks tab within Command Automatic already. It's going to be over here on the left-hand side. It's going to be right here. Yeah, so you have tasks and you can see all of the tasks for your opportunity here. It's broken down by phase. You'll have access to them in your task applet and things like that as well once it's been created. But you can go in, you can create a task, you can hide completed tasks. You can also go through and you can reschedule them, archive them, change the priority of the tasks. Did not want to do that. There we go. If we are in the appointment, we can create a task through here. And when you're creating a task, maybe for example, we want to review the photos. And remember, we added that smart due date where we added the photography date. So we can go through, we can create this however we want. I'll just say that stage. Go there, you can add a description if you'd like. And then priority level, say it's high. And then we can either set a calendar date or we can set a smart due date. And the smart due date is going to be tied again to the key dates of the opportunity. So you can say before or after. Maybe we'll say, maybe our photographer gets us the photos in 3 days, 3 days after, and then we can select that key date. So there we go. We have that photography date right there. We can set a due time or say it's due all day. And then you would just click create. This would only apply to this listing or this opportunity. It's not going to apply to all of your opportunities. I will show you how you can create those for all of your opportunities if you want to do that. But I'll show you that in a little bit on that as well. But yeah, so we can do that. We'll just say done. So that kind of sums up our overview of the opportunity. So now we're going to move to the sales pipeline. So I'm actually going to go back to our opportunities tab. So again, your sales pipeline, this is how you would find individual opportunities. So you can go to the cultivate phase and we'll see all of our opportunities through here and we can see where they are. So you can quick click the link like I just did, the little bubble under it, and we can drag and drop these along. So maybe they've moved from the watch phase to the nurture or to the hot lead. We can drag along. And you'll see these percentages right here. And the percentages are what we were talking about earlier with the probability to close. So If they're in the watch phase, they're only 5% likely, 7% likely, 10%. And you'll see that probable versus potential income down here as well. But as you move through, you'll see that they get more and more and more likely to close. And then once we're under contract, we're at, 90%, and then closed is 100%. So that is those different pipelines there in the percentages. So you can also drag it to a different phase. So you can drag it from cultivate to appointment. And then we can go over there and we'll find it right there. If you click the name of the opportunity, it's going to open up that opportunity for you. If we click stages and checklists, this button right here will change by the stage we are in. So by the phase we are in. So each phase has different stages, like we said earlier, and different checklists in those different stages. So we'll see our stage names here. We can drag and drop them around. This is going to apply to all opportunities in our pipeline. So apply to all of the opportunities in the appointment phase of our listings opportunities. So we can drag and drop those around, reorder them, whatever is the order we do those in. We can edit them and rename them. We can change the probability right here. If maybe we found that we are more likely to close them than this number suggests, or less likely. That way it'll give us a better idea there. But yeah, so we can also edit these checklists for each opportunity. So again, the checklist is going to have those tasks that are assigned to the opportunity. So we can create it, and this is again going to apply to all of the opportunities in the pipeline. So we'll say, maybe we want to actually make that review photos. Maybe we actually want to make it apply to all of our opportunities. So you'll do that. Again, it's going to be the same thing. We can choose whether to include it in the client update. Again, whether once we mark this task complete, will it send an email to our client or not? I'm going to say not. We don't need to notify them that we're reviewing their photos, but we can go through and create those descriptions, hyperlink, priority. And then again, we have the option for those smart due dates. Like, is that and then we can go through. And then again, this will apply to all opportunities. So we'll get this task assigned to us once we have an opportunity in that phase stage and has that photography date. So yeah, so you will see that KW has created a sample checklist for creating your own opportunity checklist. I'm going to drop this link in the chat for you as well. Give me just a second. There we go. So when you go to that link, it's going to look like this. Would you like to make a copy? We will say make a copy. It'll take a second to load. But once you do, KW created a checklist that has a bunch of different options for people to create different stages, checklists in there. So they have it broken down at the bottom: buyers, listings, leases, and then a bunch of tag options that you might be interested in. But you can go through and you can just grab these, copy and paste it into that phase and stage of the opportunity. So you can go through and make those changes. There's a bunch of options in here. But yeah, so we're going to go back. Again, once it's saved, it's going to apply to all opportunities. Again, that opportunities, marketing, and checklist class is going to give you a deeper dive into this if you want to check that out. So we're going to go back over here. So we are going to say we've met the person already. We've created the opportunity. We've cultivated the relationship, scheduled the appointment, and now we need documents for that appointment. We're going to go to our opportunity. We're going to go to the Documents tab. And again, we're going to make sure that we have the correct checklist selected. And then this should say start a transaction. Not sure why mine looks like that. Let's see if it'll work for me. There we go. There we go. So now it says go to transaction. It should say start a transaction. You'd click that link and it's going to create a DocuSign room. So again, DocuSign room is how you will manage your documents. We have another class that is also like a part 2 to this, just in a different way, and that is our DocuSign 101 class. It's going to walk you through everything you would do in DocuSign to make sure you get those documents sent out for signature and how you can add them back to your how you can have them in your DocuSign room. So let's say you got the forms in here, you already got them signed, you are ready to go live with your listing. You'll just make sure you get those documents in here, and then you can select from the drop down. I don't have any signed in my DocuSign right now, so you won't see them appear on mine. But once you have them signed, you would just click the drop down menu. It's going to let you select from the documents that would fit this that you can upload. Once you get those uploaded, you'll be able to click submit to Market Center, and it will, you have to have all the required fields filled before it will let you do that. So there's required, there's optional. There's also sometimes, it depends on your Market Center, there's sometimes a third one that's, I know my brain's blanking on that one too. Sorry. It'll come to me. But we'll keep moving and hopefully it'll come to me. But yeah, so once you have those documents in here, then you would just click submit to Market Center. There's also a way to upload them directly from your computer. You would just click attach files from my computer, and then you would just drag and drop them from your computer directly here, or you can click browse and it will pull you to your file manager on your computer. So this right here for attaching your files is why you want to connect your DocuSign, which we looked at the very beginning, just to make sure we get those files in here. I do want to point out if you have both DocuSign and .loop connected, you want to make sure you connect the correct transact or the correct document platform. So whether it's DocuSign or .loop, you want to make sure that you are connecting the correct one when you do that, because once you connect it, you either have that signature platform, DocuSign or .loop, or your computer. You can't switch between DocuSign and .loop in an opportunity, so you would just have to create a new opportunity if you did need to. So yeah, once the documents are ready to submit for compliance to your Market Center, you would just click submit. They'll let you know if it's approved, if it needs anything else. There's comments through here. If for any reason, for example, you're under contract and it falls through, and you need to create a new opportunity for the new buyer. So you can keep this same listing opportunity. You would just click this under contract drop down, and then you would just click add version. So we can just say, we can leave it like this. We can say version 2, create a new version, and that's going to allow us to do that second set of documents so that we don't have to create a whole new opportunity for it. So once we have all that, once you have an offer in hand, we can go over to the offers and commissions tab and we can click create offer. So then we'll just say add new offer. Go through, we can name the offers if we want. We can go through. Again, I know I addressed this whole select from KWLS up here, but this also throws people off. It's going to be pretty much the exact same process here. But I know some people have joined. So if, for example, you go to submit this offer and it says listing not in the KWLS, it's a very common error to see. It does want you to select from the KWLS. I'm gonna remove this. We'll go. Let's try going back to. Generally, it'll appear like this, is what it would look like when you first pull it up. Again, it tends to throw people off because it says no listings matched your search. But what we would recommend is just go search by the MLS number and filter it to show all listings or your Market Center listings. I generally say all listings. I'm going to grab that MLS ID number. We'll drop it in here, and then you'll just go through and you will find your listing through here, select it, and then it'll be connected to it. You'll go through and select the property type. So residential, let's say it's a new home, the number of units, seller information, seller's agent representative, buyer's information. When we have that, we would enter the buyer's name. We'll do that. We can add a co-buyer if we'd like. Terms and dates. So we can go through and we can enter that information in here. It's really low price point. We'll go with that. And then we can enter the cash amount in here. Earnest money we have here. Contract date. So we would enter this in when we have a contract. So we'll just say, click the calendar and we'll just select today's date. The close date, we'll do that as well. There. You can put any contingencies right here, any comments if you want any comments to show to your clients. Maybe you're comparing them, so you want to list the pros and cons for this offer. We can click create offer right here. And then we can also go in and add another offer. It should already be selected from the KWLS. Residential, new home. We'll say maybe they're buying it with cash offer. We'll just go in and select all of these all over again. Any contingencies, any comments, we'll create an offer. And then right here, we'll be able to select these and we can compare the offers. So we can see the offer comparison with the sales price, the cash, finance amount, earnest money. So it's going to break it down as well as have our comments right here. And then we can download this offer comparison or we can email it to our client. So we have those options. We can go in and we can either download it or email it to our clients, however we want to do it. We can go back to our offers. We can also, click the three dots, edit the offer, remove the offer entirely. But then we can go in and accept or reject the offers. We'll go ahead and we would say accept on the one we wanted to. We probably have another opportunity with this address, so it's not going to let me do that. We'll go in. I'm just going to grab a different one of the Market Center listings through here. We'll go. Then we'd say save and accept offer. And then you would go through, this is where you would fill out that commission sheet for your commission. So you'll go through, make sure all of this information looks correct. You can edit it through here, make sure this is broken down properly. And then you can enter notes to your Market Center through here, or we can just submit it to our Market Center altogether. So once you submit it to the Market Center, that's how they're going to make sure you get paid, go through and, pay you through that. So, yeah, so once that's all done, you would come back to your Documents tab. each, different stage here. So listed, under contract, closed. Each of these is going to need to be, once you upload those documents, you'll have to submit those individually. So listed, submit, under contract, add all those documents, and then submit it. And then closed, again, you would put those in and submit it to Market Center there. So that covers our opportunities overview for today. So I'm going to wrap up this recording, but if anyone has any questions, please drop them in the chat. I'd be happy to get those answered for you. If you're not sticking around for questions, thank you for joining me. I hope it was helpful for you, and I hope you have a fabulous weekend.